Welcome back into Ramen Rewatch, the show where we review anime one bowl at a time. I'm back again here with my co-hosts Sean and Landon. How are we doing, I guess?
No, we're not doing good.
So, this week we're going to be discussing the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie. We were originally going to do the Misfit of Demon King Academy, but we got JJK season 3 coming up, and we want to get started on that. Eventually, we may go back and finish that up. But for the meantime, we're just going to stick to JJK. And we get to talk about the Zero movie, which I absolutely love. Yuta is one of my favorite characters. Everybody knows I love like swordsmen. So he's a sick character, and we get to learn all about him in this. What was your guys' first impressions of Yuta?
Thought he was a bitch.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That is fair. I thought Yuta was very soft when I met him too.
Right. I mean, the
I mean, when we first met him in fucking school, when he's getting picked on by three kids crying, I mean, how can you think anything else? That Utah's a bitch off rip. I'm sorry.
Literally.
And obviously we're going to be talking all about JJK over these next couple weeks. I thought Yuta reminded me a lot of Jinpei or whatever his name is when we first met him. Like obviously very
Junpei?
very soft.
Yes.
And like you obviously saw Junpei could have a similar story arc. Mahito obviously ends that, but like I don't know. It was cool to see a character that throughout the story obviously you get to see Yuta's character arc change, but you get to see him being on the outside of society early on. Like you said, you see him getting picked on by bullies in school. Um, and in that first scene, we see him obviously kill one of his classmates, or Rika, who we get introduced to as his curse. What'd you guys think of Rika?
She's OP.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I thought Rigo was pretty badass.
yeah, no, that honestly is probably one of my favorite curses. Later on in the movie, you get to see there's a scene of Yuta and Rika together. That's like one of my favorite panels in the manga. But we get to see Yuta. He obviously kills one of his classmates, doesn't intend to, and he's torn up about it. And we find out that he's sentenced to be executed. And we meet Gojo. And obviously, we all know how much we love Gojo. But here, obviously, it's kind of similar and parallels a lot to, opening with Yuji as well. So we find out, I think it's like 14 months earlier or something like that. Yuta is in a very similar scenario to Yuji. He's being threatened to be executed. They temporarily suspend that execution. Obviously, Gojo's the one who fights for that. So we get Yuta here agreeing reluctantly to join Jujutsu High. He really didn't want to go outside or do anything anymore because he felt like he was too much of a danger to people around him. He kind of had like that. You remember that X-Men character who anybody she touched, they died? I think it was like Rogue or something like that. It kind of reminded me of a similar sort of thing where they feel like they're such a detriment to society that them being around anymore is not good. Obviously, you saw he tried to take his life, and Rika stopped it. So, got some crazy stuff going on there. Then you move on and you get Yuta and Rika's backstory. Obviously, they were friends as kids, and they pledged to end up, getting married someday. So Rika gives Yuta the ring, and they confess their feelings for each other, or whatever, and decide to get married. And then you see the tragedy with Rika. What'd you guys think when you saw that? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. John didn't hear your question.
Okay.
But basically, I thought it was a pretty traumatic event. for Yuta, especially at being such a young age, seeing like not only his best but his only friend
Right.
get hit and killed by a car, and then basically having a curse live with him is probably a pretty traumatic experience considering he's tried to kill himself multiple times, but Rika just won't let him.
Right. No, when I saw that, I was stunned. Like I didn't think that obviously that's a crazy tragedy. You know, a little kid getting stepping out in front of a car accidentally. And then obviously you see Yuta's face when he realizes what happened because it happened so quickly. You know, he's stunned by it. And obviously, Rika gets resurrected as a curse. Um, and so Yuta feels responsible for that, obviously. You know, they had pledged to be together, and now Rika's cursing him because, um, you know, even in death, they decided to be together forever, and they never leave each other's side. So it kind of sets up this big problem that Yuta has where if he truly wants to live and be successful, he has to try and break that curse. And so he starts to kind of like develop a strategy with Gojo about how to do that. And you start to see him training. So as the movie goes on, they decide that Yuta needs to become a better swordsman. And he starts training with Maki. He goes on an assignment early on where they go to this. Is it the school first? They go to a hospital. And it's Maki. The first mission that Yuta goes on, he goes on assignment with Maki, and they go to a hospital where a couple of kids have gone missing. What'd you guys think of that one?
I think it was a pretty interesting training arc, especially seeing Yuta and Maki work together, with Maki kind of trying to teach Yuta the basics, but then obviously you see during this part that Maki and Yuta get like basically trapped with inside the belly of the beast, and people with cursed energy are resistance to the being with inside there, but people with no cursed energy obviously are not going to be able to so be resistant. So obviously Maki, being one of the few characters in the show with no cursed energy at all, which actually there's only two that we know of. So him having to call on Rika and have Rika basically rip the curse apart to save both of them, and Yuta basically put everybody, including the two kids, on his back. I thought it was a pretty cool scene, especially I think it showed a lot of character development early for Yuta, since like we were just saying he was like a bitch at the start. He quickly like turned around and was the hero for three people and saved three lives within like a week of us thinking, like within JJK's time, a week of him being bullied. A week later, he's saving three people from being killed. So
Right.
I think it's pretty cool character development to see, and it kind of is shipping to show the direction that Utah is going to be going into.
Right. What'd you think, Sean?
I thought it was like kind of like what Lennon said. I thought it was pretty interesting. When I first seen it, I thought it was super cool that he was able to one carry all three of them on his back because I was still thinking he was super weak and he wasn't even gonna muster the strength to do that. But I did like how he was able to essentially kind of like lock in, but at least have the brain to call on Rika and have her come out in that situation. And I thought that was pretty dope. She just came in, just completely mauled over this huge ass, um, I almost called it a spirit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, curse. But after that, that was pretty sick. And then watching him walk away, like Lennon said, his character development with him just becoming a stronger individual, I thought that was pretty cool to see.
So yeah, I thought it was cool because obviously you get to see Maki. She's kind of a monster in her own right, and so she kind of takes point on the mission. Do you disagree, Landon, that she's not a monster in her own right? She's
No.
I don't know. In that fight scene, she's kind of made out to be like really good with curse tools, and
No. No. Where is animated Maki is not shit.
okay, but still,
If we're including manga,
if you're
then
looking if you're
absolutely
looking
Maki
at it through the
is
lens
shit.
of Yuta, he's seeing Maki as like being way stronger than him. That's probably how I should have phrased it. So
Yeah, but you're also saying that, but Maki also views it the other way. Maki views Yuta being
Yeah,
stronger than her.
yeah, obviously, because she sees that through just the lens of him being a special grade. So
Exactly. So, but also saying that Maki's only like a third grade and maybe even a fourth grade at the time. She still ain't shit.
yeah, I don't think you learn that until the first season, but I think she's like the lowest grade you can be because the Zenin clan are holding her back so much. But no, so I thought it was cool how Yuta's character kind of, like you guys were saying, he has a lot of character development. I like how you said he locked in at that moment because he kept saying to himself, "I'm gonna change. I'm not gonna let this happen." Uh, when he was walking with or with the two kids and Maki on his back, so you could see like the internal struggle and change that was happening with him. Um, but that's his first mission. I think it reminded me a lot of Yuji's first mission with why am I forgetting his name? Megumi. Them going on that first mission together remind me a lot of that. You see the veil and everything. So it's a cool callback to the first season as well. And also too, I think it. What's that?
You mean Nobara?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yuji's first mission was with Nobara.
Right. And then after that, he goes on with Megami to where they find the special grade. But that's later on.
Him, Megumi. But I mean, they also have a veil when him and Nobara go do their training on the first mission that they go together.
Yeah.
When he gets Slaughter Demon, he's curse tool,
Yep.
and he breaks it. He punched through not reinforced concrete.
Right.
When he was like, Nobara was like, "Did you just punch through that concrete?" And Yuji's like, "Well, it wasn't reinforced concrete."
Right.
That's technically Yuji's first mission.
Okay, my bad. So, but anyway, it reminds me a lot of that. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of parallels between Yuji and Yuta. So anyway, we go back, and after this, Yuta kind of is back at school, and he's kind of had this newfound desire to get better, and so he ends up getting his katana. I'm pretty sure, and that's where Gojo kind of explains that he's trying to teach him how to infuse Rika into this tool so that he can call her at will. And he starts training with Maki. I think my favorite part of that scene was when Panda like had his realization. He's like, "Oh my god, Maki might be the one for him," and he asks Yuta, what kind of girls he's into, which is a funny parallel to Toto later on in the first season. But that scene was pretty funny to me. What do you guys think?
And also that Maki liked Yuta, not so much that Yuta might be the one. He noticed Maki's like
Yeah.
reaction to Yuta and how much he changed.
Right.
That's why he pulled Yuta over and asked him if what his type was, and that's why after he said your type, he immediately goes, "Maki,
Yeah.
you have a shot," and he's like, "I can kill you."
Yeah. No, I love that. I thought it was great. Panda obviously is a great character. You get to see some of the second years, obviously their first years now, but you get to see a lot of them shine in this with Togi and Panda and Maki. That's probably what I like the most about this first movie is you get to see a lot of those guys who don't have a massive role all the time in the actual JJK manga shine a little bit. So then we get to Yuta's second mission, and this is where he goes with Togi to that building that's being built, and they want to like clear out some of these lesser spirits so that once the building's constructed, it's not known for being haunted. And we learn a little bit more about Togi here. He's a cursed speech user. So when he speaks, he has the ability to tell a curse or tell somebody to do whatever he says. And obviously, the more violent that speech is, the more it actually hurts his voice. So you get a little interaction between Ijichi kind of giving Yuta and Togi the what the mission's about, and you see Togi go and get like cough syrup basically. So they start their second mission and they're under the impression that this is a whole bunch of little spirits. This really shouldn't be a problem. But Yuta obviously is afraid. Still, he's still a little bit cowardly, and this is only his second mission. And they see a massive swarm of smaller cursed spirits coming towards them, and um, you see Togi take them out relatively easy using his cursed speech. But then they feel a presence of another cursed spirit there because they can't get through the barrier anymore. And that's when you're introduced to this other cursed spirit that seems even worse than the hospital incident. What do you guys think about that one?
I thought it got off pretty like crazy quick, if that makes sense. Like I thought it was gonna be casual too. It honestly fooled me. I was like, damn. I kind of knew who was behind it, or like I had a rough idea, but then I was just like, whoa. I was not expecting that special period to be there.
Yeah, Lamb, what you think?
I thought it was pretty cool seeing Inumaki and Yuta work together to take it out.
Yeah, yeah, that I thought the art style for that cursed spirit was kind of interesting, or maybe not the art style, but the fighting style more so. He had like kind of a Buddhist mentality to him. You know, he was obviously meditating, and his power was based off like the movements he made from that position. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
And then obviously you get to see a good bit of chemistry between Yuta and Togi when they're fighting. This is, I think, the first time you see Yuta be able to summon a little bit of Rika's power. He asks to borrow her power in this fight, right?
Mhm.
So that's pretty cool. You can see that he's developing uh, as a swordsman and also being able to develop that relationship with Rika and be able to use her power to benefit him rather than it be spontaneous. But that was like another cool little mission, little side quest on his journey. Um, After this, I think we start getting more so into what the major conflict is in this fight. You get to see Gato overlooking the battle, and he kind of whispers to himself that I don't remember the exact thing he says, but he basically is trying to take Riza, and we don't know why yet. So after that's done, do you guys remember where it goes from there? We get that introduction of Gato. So then after that, it cuts to
Yes.
Gato, and he is basically like running a shop. He has two women come in, and it looks like a mother and daughter. And the daughter is afflicted with like this terrible curse that's like literally gripping her neck. And Gato kind of points it out, and she has no idea how he could possibly know that. And he easily gets rid of it and consumes it. So it seems like Gato is using this as kind of a front to collect cursed spirits. And, obviously it's something that's helping humans, but you kind of get to see more of his character here. He hates regular humans, non Jujutsu sorcerers. We obviously know that from JJK. So, what do you guys think seeing Gato now in this form?
So when I watched this movie, it was after season one, and obviously we don't know who Gato is at this point.
Right.
So I just thought he was the bad guy, to be honest with you. I didn't think much of it. I just thought he was the bad guy. You won't really realize how twisted his thinking truly did become after the second season, at least the start of the second season. But when I first watched it, I just thought he was the bad guy, and I was like, okay, sounds like another typical bad guy that wants to rule the world with people like him and no one else. So it's like, oh, okay, I wonder where I've heard this one before.
Right.
But it was interesting him consuming cursed spirits and stuff because, like, I did watch this movie after the first season, like I said. So it's like I know of curses, and it's like, dang, it kind of sounds OP. And I did see a bit of him during the first season, but technically not.
Yeah.
So like that's why for the movie it really just built up that he was the bad guy because also until the second season I didn't know that that was actually two different people. I thought the first season Gato was the movie Gato
Right.
as well. So I was just like, yeah, okay, this is the bad guy. That's all he was. He's just the bad guy. Because like I said, I obviously had no second season information at all, but it was pretty interesting seeing the way he turned out and the way his thinking really got warped, unfortunately.
How about you, Sean?
Um, what was I gonna say? So I did the opposite of Landon. I think I watched the movie for the first time after season two. So like I had already kind of knew about Gato. So it's kind of like the reverse experience from Landon. But my first initial thought of him was like watching the movie was Frieza because I was like just with his opening dialogue and he was just referring to everyone, all non-sorcerers as monkeys, and I was just like, man, this just gonna be an evil motherfucker. But then I was just like, but then once I realized that how Landon and I broke it down between the season two and season one Gato, it started making more sense.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too that makes this a little bit tricky is timeline wise. This is in between uh, the first season and the start of the second season. So like this is after the events that we see in the hidden inventory arc, but before what we get in JJK season one. So that's obviously important for context as to where Gato is on his journey because if you look at it actual timeline wise, the last thing we saw with Gato would have been the events of the hidden inventory. So we kind of move on with Gato. We get back and let me get back into my notes. We get back to the high school and the principal is there. There's a whole bunch of higher ups and everything. They're starting to like kind of consolidate because Gojo senses that Gato is the one who caused the events.
Well, no. Gojo when Gojo went to the mall, he felt Gato's
Right,
residuals.
exactly. Yep,
That's why they know Gato was planning an attack.
right,
They just didn't know when was the thing.
right. And so they're kind of making a plan here to deal with that. Gojo speaks to the higher ups, and they're talking about Yuta's execution. And you hear Gojo say some pretty cool stuff. He's basically saying that if that goes down, he's going to side with Yuta, and nobody should be allowed to take away young people's youth. And so you get to see more of Gojo's character development there too. Not character development, more so just get to know him better. Because before in the movie, so far he's been portrayed as like the crazy teacher. Yuta said things like, "I think it's more on the teacher than the students," you know. So it's cool to see that Gojo truly cares for his students. Um, but all this is leading up to like the main conflict of that story. So I guess I'll just ask vaguely, what do you guys think of the Night Parade of 100 Demons?
I thought it was sick. I don't know why
Well,
I was watching the stream. It's not
funny.
here.
I thought it was kind of funny how Gato pulled up to the school first and basically like warned them
Yeah,
about it
yeah,
to like kind of like set them off on like a wild goose chase so they could like go look for something that really wasn't important, which it was important at the same time though is the problem.
right.
So obviously we know the knowing how the 100 Night Parade took place, they sent I want to say it was 1,000 cursed spirits released in both Tokyo and Kyoto. No, not Tokyo.
It was Kyoto.
But no, yeah,
I
Tokyo. Tokyo and Kyoto.
yeah, I think that scene with Gato kind of misdirecting them is obviously really important. He thinks that he's one step ahead, sending them and leaving Yuta. You basically get his explanation of his true plan, which is to isolate Gato or isolate Yuta and take his power. Um, if he can control Rika, he believes that he can conquer his dream, which is basically make the whole world into just Jujutsu sorcerers. So that's pretty cool. You get to hear his plan, and you know the entire time you're seeing all of your strong characters go to Kyoto, go to Tokyo to help protect the people. But really, they're playing right into Gato's hands with that. So that's pretty cool. Um, Obviously, you get some major fights here. In that, I think that's probably one of the coolest things about JJK is really all the major events have like sick names, like the night parade of 100 demons. That's sick. The Shibuya incident. Um, all of those major events seem to be like a set time and place, and like major things go down. So I thought that was really cool too. You get to see our guys fight against some of Gato's what he calls family, which are some of his like loyal uh, Jujutsu sorcerers, and then obviously you get the major fight between Yuta and Gato, with some of our other first years mixed in there. What'd you guys think when Gojo had to like kind of realize the plan and then sent Panda and Togi over to help Yuta?
I think it just shows how smart Gojo is.
Right.
Because, like you said, like within the movies, like portrayed as like the sadistic, psychotic teacher that's just a goofball all the fucking time. You're like, okay, yeah, he's really strong, but like, what does he know? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like, just because you're strong doesn't mean you know a lot. You could be like extremely fucking strong and not know fucking shit. Everyone else could be just weaker than you, but. I think that's like the first moment that showed Gojo on a deeper level than just, oh, haha, silly, goofy, strong character. No, it's like, oh, okay. He has like a serious mode when it needs to come time, and he can figure shit out on the fly very fucking quick.
Right. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty sick because I thought it really showed like I was saying how smart Gojo really is, and it also shows the relationship that Gojo has with Gato to realize that nah, something's not right. To know before anyone else, before Gato's other teachers, the principal, Gojo knew nah, this isn't the true plan. It made a quick audible. It was instant too. He no delay, just instantaneously sent them right to the school to protect Yuta, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I was like, because you don't see a lot of strong main characters do that. Like Goku's not thinking of that. He's gonna be enjoying the fight too much and just not even realize that.
Right.
And that's like I feel like that's a good example.
I think you said it best.
Something else,
Go ahead.
something else that I like about Gojo that shows his intelligence level and how strong he is when that night parade took place, he's the one that decided that he would fight the foreign sorcerer
Right.
and not leave that to anybody else within Japan, just in case, because they don't know what type of technique he has or what other like tools he could have. So Gojo was like, since I'm the strongest one in Japan, I will take on the foreign sorcerer. You guys take care of the demons.
Yeah, he's talking to
And
Principal.
he made quick work, bro. He put paws on Miguel.
Yeah.
Like, bro, also one of like the craziest aura parts are you're in the way, shoots a fucking red at him, and just blows off a curse's entire head,
Right.
and then proceeds to put belt to ass to Miguel. Like, what? Come on.
Well, I think, yeah, the scene where he's talking to Principal Yaga and I think he says something to the effect of there is one sorcerer that could cause us problems, and he just picks up that sense from across the battlefield. It really shows how perceptive Gojo is, and you see that throughout the show a lot. But if this is the first thing that you're introduced to in JJK, it is really cool to see like he quickly can sense that Gato is not there. He knows Gato's personality. He would either want to be in the fight or be able to see it happen. And because his relationship, like Sean said, they're so close and they're best friends, only friends, he was able to kind of do that quick audible and go help Yuta without doing it himself. So I definitely think this is a part where Gojo gets to shine in in the movie, and then we kind of get into. Do you guys want to talk about the Yuta and Gato fight now?
Is it time?
I think so because obviously there's two battles kind of going on here. You got that fight, and then we got everything that's going on in Kyoto.
Oh no, let's talk about that. I kind of want to talk about that Kyoto fight
Okay,
first.
let's wrap that up, and then we'll just switch over to that one. So,
Bro, Gojo put belt to ass. What more is there to talk about?
for real.
Like, come on.
Okay, well, actually, no, there is something else I wanted to say too because you also get a little bit of hype on Nanami and Toto in this. They were they were talking about how um, I can't remember how many demons it was, but I wanted to say it was like thousands of curses that Toto himself took out. He took out a large amount of Geto's force, and it's expanded upon when you get the first season fight between Yuji and Toto. But he was pretty sick. Obviously, you get Nanami, who's a really cool character. I don't think he gets fleshed out as much as he could, but you get to see his yeah.
These are like 4 different fights in the anime.
Well, I guess where I'm at in the manga, I haven't heard too much from Nanami recently. Yeah, that might change.
Why? I'm gonna say that right now. There's a big reason why you have not heard from Nanami from where you're reading at,
Okay.
and it's kind of fucking hilarious that you forgot. But anyways, we'll move past that.
Wait.
R.I.P. my boy.
How does he not know?
Miss you.
Is that okay? Wait, maybe I forgot something in season 2. I guess.
Oh, he died in the second season of the anime. Nanami is
That's what
gone.
I'm saying.
Okay, there you go.
He said, I haven't heard much from my boy Nanami in the manga, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you ain't gonna hear that from him, right? Crickets, crickets. Hey, Justice, this is what you gonna hear from my boy Nanami.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, that's why we're going back through this again. Obviously, we got the new season coming up, so we're definitely gonna fill in all the stuff for you guys. So sorry about that. But anyway, so you get to see Nanami and Toto in that fight. Was there anything else you guys were wanting to discuss? Obviously, they kind of take care of things there, and there is some damage, but it's not nearly as bad as what it could have been, especially if Gato and all of his curses were there. But
No, it wouldn't have mattered if Gates was there. Gojo would have went domain expansion. Over.
Yeah.
It's over. I mean, what are we gonna do? It's over.
and that's the other thing too that we learn later on is the other person that's with Gato realizes that he has to seal Gojo because he's too much of a threat. Like obviously Gato may have had some arrogance in this first fight, trying to.
What are you talking
I'm talking about when Gojo gets sealed. Like he realizes that Gojo has to be sealed.
Oh, no. Quit. Just stop talking. Gato has nothing to do with him getting sealed.
No,
Zero.
I realize that, but also too, you realize that to be successful, like here, Gato thinks he can be successful because he feels like he can get Rika, and that'll be able to make his army stronger. Obviously, later on,
Okay, yeah.
that plays a factor because I think that I don't know this obviously because I haven't read the manga all the way through, but I'm theorizing that Kenjaku probably has some of Gato's memories, knows how important sealing Gojo is and taking that piece off the board. So
Yeah, it's stated that everybody he takes over, he regains all of their memories
Okay.
and
There you
their
go.
techniques. So yes, have that information. But that is obviously why he needed to seal Gojo.
right,
If you don't seal Gojo, you do not have any chance of survival.
yeah,
You lose as a curse.
and I think it's kind of interesting that Gato thinks he can be successful here with Gojo still being on the board. I mean,
To be fair, he would have been the only curse user that would have been able to be successful with Gojo on the board. Gojo would not have killed Gato unless absolutely indirectly needed to. AKA, Gato tried to kill his students. Gojo killed them.
so this is
Gojo doesn't, I mean, Gato does not try to kill his students. Gojo doesn't give a fuck if he released 4,000 fucking curses. He's not killing Gato for it.
right.
But as soon as he goes after his students, absolutely fucking not. That's the only thing that Gojo will kill his best friend over.
Right.
That's why Gato eventually got killed by Gojo.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a deviation, but it's kind of interesting seeing Gato's persona here because in the hidden inventory arc, you see him as
Yeah, it's flipped.
yeah,
Just say how it is. It's flipped.
yeah. He's like reserved. He cares, but he's trying to do everything. Like everything that he does, it might be twisted and wrong, but he's trying to do it because he thinks he's creating a better world. I was talking to Sean about it earlier. How through his eyes, I don't think he sees himself as a villain, or at least if he does, he knows that the ends justify the means. But in this, he seems kind of more like a crazy psychopath who wants to take over the world. It's kind of interesting to see where
We would
that's
have did it if it wasn't for the meddling kids.
yeah, for real.
Sorry.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into the fight there then with Yuta and
The best fight in the anime at the moment.
you would put it number one.
I said number 2,
Oh,
second
number
best.
2. Okay, I was gonna say rewatching that back, that's an incredible fight. Obviously, the animation's pretty sick, but oh, Chris O in the chat said, "What's up, my boys?"
And fuck you. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Pardon my French. Play on the highway, Chriso. I'm just kidding.
So that's that's Christian, obviously, who's
He
always
about to say something.
always on with us, but we'll probably have him on for a Wednesday episode here pretty soon. But yeah,
He about to hop in this. Oh no. Do not join.
I mean, he can if he wants to. If he wants to talk about it.
Yeah, well, we gotta talk about Jujutsu Kaisen. You can't talk about what I just said to you. We can talk about that after the show.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
if you join
But
now,
we can talk about JJK.
okay.
No Naruto.
No.
JJK.
Speaking of Naruto, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, actually, speaking of Naruto, one thing Sean and I were talking about earlier is how you and I's conversation about how JJK is more akin to Naruto than Bleach. I definitely think it is, especially after watching this movie too. He says, "I'm not watching One Piece. I'm not. I'm watching One Piece right now." Okay, fair enough.
Oh, okay. You cool.
I think he's in like the Grand Line right now,
Boy.
or just about like crossing the Reverse Mountain. But anyway, so the Yuta and Gato fight. Obviously, there's some big stuff there. Do you want to put us through it?
See, I was right. I was right. Jujutsu Kaisen pulls inspiration from both Bleach and Naruto, but is more heavily inspired by Bleach overall. So lift my left nut and then my right one after, and then after you get the crumbs in between my taint, because fuck y'all.
Okay.
My apologies. That was kind of a crazy statement. My apologies. It's been a long day. I'm kind of tired.
Anyway, so
What did I do?
first off,
You agreed with him.
ChatGPT is not always right. I
All
completely
right.
Yeah, his chat GPT
We're
be
losing
biased.
everybody. Don't mean anything.
Anyway, so the Gato and Yuta fight, and we're gonna get through it. I promise. So, Layman, go ahead and take us.
Let's get.
Tell us what it is.
What do you want me to take away?
Explain to us the fight.
So basically, starts off pretty cool. You get a little bit of a first introduction between Gato and Yuta when Gato pulls up to the school originally, talking about, hey, you have great spirits, cursed energy, you should be able to join my team and so I can help you. And then he like makes fun of Maki calling her worthless monkey because she has no cursed energy, and he was talking about like wanting to get rid of all that. And Yuta basically like, you do that to my friends, I can't be friends with you. So that's when like their first interaction. Then the second interaction is during the night parade of 100 demons. Obviously, Gato goes to the school instead of Tokyo or Kyoto. Gato pulls up, sees, I want to say it was Panda, Maki, and Inumaki all at the same time. Boxed all three of them, beat the shit out of all three of them by himself. And then he saw Yuta again, and he gave him his offer one more time, and Yuta's like, fuck with my friends. It's on site now. And then he pulls Rika out. And like he just puts his right hand out and he gets this megaphone and he puts it up to his mouth and it has the cursed speech symbol on it. So you get the first little introduction of what Yuta's curse technique is, which is basically just copy. He copied Unumaki's technique and used, forget what he used on Gato, but he used something strong as fuck on Gato, and Gato was surprised and impressed because he was like, this dude's only been studying jujitsu for a
Right.
month and he just pulled off a different technique that he doesn't even have. And the fight starts off pretty sick, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he said die with the megaphone. I feel like die is a very strong word.
Yeah, I think if you say that word as a curse user, it's either one of two things that happen. Either the person in front of you is going to explode or you're going to explode. It's like no in between.
Yeah.
Someone dying if that word gets used.
Right.
Yeah, that was crazy. And all he said was, dang, that kind of hurt. Thanks, Inumaki. And I'm like, bro, what? Like, what was he only a source for how many months? Like,
3 months.
it
A
was a
month.
single digit, right?
I think it was
Yeah.
3 months.
Like, dude, that's insane. And he's pretty much he's like a Kakashi, bro.
Well, he's on special grade level.
Right.
Yeah, he's the copy ninja.
Yeah. Again, another reference to Naruto. No, I'm just kidding. It is cool. Obviously, Yuta in this fight is able to use Rika at will as well. That's a massive step for his character development. We get to see a little bit more of that here in a second. But what do you guys think when Gato kind of sees Yuta getting serious and says, "You fight for love, I'll fight to win." It kind of shows that both of their um, philosophies completely clash. What do you guys think? Them being
Yeah,
opposites,
both of their ideologies, which are obviously on opposite ends of the spectrum.
right?
One is like love for all, and one is love for like a certain. So obviously, like they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. So seeing that clash was really cool. Some great animation. But yeah,
I think that's one of the better
I
animated
agree.
fights I've seen in a long time. Like the one scene that I keep, the one panel that I'll always remember from that fight is where you see him finally draw out Rika for the first time, and she's like hovering behind him in like a purple mist, and he's got like the purple aura glow. That is pretty sick. But
I think my favorite part is when Yuta basically gives in and says, "If you give me all of your power now, I'll do whatever you want." And basically, like Rika unlocks her fucking all-seeing eye, basically, and like it goes sporadic, and that's when they do the clash with the love beam. And after Rika went psychotic like that, you knew damn well she wasn't losing. She might have even fought back against a hollow. Nah, that's doing too much. She would have lost the dojo. But anyways, every other character she would have smoked.
yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean,
Besides,
Yeah.
and I think that maybe is something we haven't talked about too much in this episode is how like crazy Rika actually is, like how powerful she is. Obviously, special grade, you know what that is, but that like seeing her power in action, she seems like an unstoppable force.
I say she's the second strongest non-human in all of JJK.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
obviously the fight, we know how that ends. Gato ends up, losing, dying. It kind of seemed to me like he had his arm blown off, like his right side.
Yeah, he
Arm.
lost his arm.
Yeah, and so
Oh,
Yuta ends up.
You got that Toji treatment.
What's that?
You got that Toji treatment.
Yeah, for real. But Yuta ends up killing him, being victorious. You get that scene where Gojo walks up on Gato as he's dying and seeing the sunset. And you get that cool exchange where Gojo asks if he has any last words, and he says that he never did any of this to hurt anybody at uh, Jujutsu High, but he wanted to get rid of the monkeys, So he stays true to the
I'm
end.
almost. I'm pretty sure what he said. It says, "No matter what anyone says, I really hate those monkeys." I'm pretty sure that's what he said for his fucking last words.
Yeah. But before that, he
yep.
did say that he never did it for, like, to hurt the people at Tokyo Jujutsu High. So you get that. You get to see that Yuta is alive because it seemed like he might have died in that attack. You get to see Maki's okay, Panda and Togi, and then you get the big scene between uh, Yuta and Rika. What'd you guys think of that?
I think it was cool finally seeing the curse get broken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's
I
the.
thought that was pretty cool, pretty whole.
It was awesome animation too. Obviously, when it finally shattered and you got the orbs going up into the sky, but obviously that's the big crux of the show for Yuta. Like that's his character arc. There was he was trying to break that curse, set her free. He realizes here that he is actually the one that cursed Rika and not the reverse. You find out that
And we also find out that he's relatives to Satoru Gojo.
yep, distant relatives, and that explains why. Because the entire time Gojo is trying to figure out more about the connection between Yuta and Rika to help him break that curse. And in doing so, that's how he finds out that they're distantly related. But it is cool. You get to see Rika say these past 6 years have been the best 6 years of my life. She never felt like she was under a curse because she got to stay with the person she loved, and so that's really cool. Um, and then I'm pretty sure that's where the story mostly wraps up. There's not too much left after that. So I want to.
Yep.
Oh, did you because speaking of that, because their love story was super dope.
Yeah.
Did you write down what Gato has said? Because Gato and Yuta had a very interesting dialogue that I during their fight towards the end, right before the final blow, I'm pretty sure, when um Gato was like, "You guys are doing this in the name of love or
Yeah, that's
something,"
what I was saying earlier.
and
You fight for love, I'll fight to win.
yeah,
Yep.
like yes,
No,
yes,
it was
that was fire.
it
I
was
was just thinking about
it
that.
was a really cool. Like obviously the fight scene, the animation, everything, and that was awesome. But I think it was also a huge battle of their morals and all that. I think it was definitely a philosophical battle as well. Gato does have a vision for society to be great. He just has to do these terrible things to achieve that. Whereas Yuta, all he really cares about is being needed by somebody. He's resigned himself to die several times already. He thinks that he's going to get executed here soon. And so what he's fighting for is to help people and to make a difference in people's lives. And if he has to do that one at a time, he does it. And so I think it's cool to see that clash of ideals. But would you guys? I mean, obviously
I
this.
also found Yuji and Yuta have similar ideals of wanting to save everybody
Yeah. Yep.
without even knowing who.
Yes.
I think that you could say that one wants to embrace living, and the other one wants to have a meaningful death, right? And it's kind of the cool two ends of the spectrum. They're very similar, but also, you know, have that about them as well.
Interesting.
So, overall thoughts on the movie, boys? What do we think?
I thought it was really good.
I do too.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie.
From
It was a lot of. It was a good movie of like. It was like a great way of to represent backstory and filler.
yeah,
If that makes sense.
yeah, like you guys were saying earlier, my JJK journey was a little bit different too. I read Zero before I watched any of JJK. And so I had thought the entire time that Yuta was going to be the main character. Obviously, that's not the case. I mean, he is kind of one of the main characters, but it follows more Yuji. But I love this movie. I thought it was great. The animation was awesome in parts. You get to see some characters that you get seen sprinkled throughout JJK really shine in this. Um, I don't know. I definitely enjoyed it, and I think that for most people, pretty much everybody's seen it. But if you have missed this, definitely watch it before season 3 comes out because you're gonna understand Yuta's story way more, and the calling games is gonna make way more sense to you. So You guys
Agreed.
have any other thoughts you want to share before we wrap up? Yeah, so this one was a little bit shorter one. Obviously, we were doing a movie, so it's not as long as a full season or anything, but it's very necessary for the show, so we wanted to cover it. But next week we're probably gonna do. What do you guys want to do? Season one, you think, or the hidden inventory arc?
I'll let Sean decide.
Hidden inventory.
I think that's the way to go too. Um, so we're gonna discuss the hidden inventory arc, and that takes place before the events of what we just discussed. So you'll get basically all the backstory before the true events of JJK. So next Sunday we'll be back with that. I'm excited about that. And then Wednesday we're gonna do a show where we'll probably have some more special guests on and do a game or something. I think we're still discussing that. But if you guys are enjoying the show and you want to help support us, go check out our YouTube and subscribe there. You can always follow us here or check out the podcast on any of your podcasting platforms. That's the best way to help our show grow. So we definitely appreciate it. But with that being said, we'll see you guys next week.
Deuces.